Yo, what's up? So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how our client made over $1 million in 1 month from a YouTube sales funnel. And in this video, I'm just going to be breaking down the entire process so you can actually go ahead and copy it by yourself. If you stay through and watch to the end of the video, I promise you will get some sort of value. First things first, who am I? Why should you even watch this video? Why should you even listen to me? I've done over 150 million views when it comes to YouTube, short form, etc. Over $1 million when tied to info product sales coming from YouTube organic content. Notable names I have worked with: Brez, Neon, Jacob Leverad, Sebastian Georgiou, Level of Serve, and much more. I can scroll through some testimonials right here, and you guys can just understand the scope of work that I've done, so you guys can see that I'm legit and I'm not just lying to you. I've done this for multiple channels, generating them multiple six figures per year just from simply posting YouTube organic videos. And after watching this video, you should be able to do the same, because as you can see here, we cash collected over $1 million, and 80% of people that have bought in the past month have watched at some point in the sales process. These are the YouTube stats, so you guys know I'm not capping as well. Let's get straight into it and how this can actually benefit your info product and what you're selling. So here's some info about the client. This client, I'm going to be leaving a lot of things private, but their niche is in the business and marketing niche. The main offer is a 3K offer from what I'm informed. I mainly focus on the content side, so I want to break down how I actually think about content and what we're doing on that end, but they might have a higher and low ticket sell around that. But I know the main offer is a 3K. Once again, here's the proof of the 1 mil being cash collected. Our ISP is mainly like in the range of 18 to 30 years old, looking to add to their income with an online skill. And once again, you can see like 80% of the people that are buying this process are buying this product are watching YouTube videos that are within the sales process. And just the way that we did it is through a content funnel, and I want to break down that content funnel so you can actually understand it and leverage it to nurture, use it within your pipeline, and all that type of stuff. I'm going to break down exactly how we were able to collect 1 mil. So what is the actual content funnel? I'm going to be covering a lot of things in this video: the content ideas, title, thumbnail execution, how to make scripts that collect cash, all this type of stuff, and probably some gems that I'll just drop along the way. So just make sure you pay attention and log into the video. I'm not doing any editing on this video. It's going to be a one cut and go. So first things first, the content funnel. Obviously, we have a YouTube video that gets posted. I'm going to talk about how we actually come up with YouTube video ideas that can go ahead and help you collect cash. But the YouTube video obviously gets posted. From there, we have a free training, and then obviously that's just for nurture. They get to opt in, all that good stuff. And then there's a type form, qualify, sales call. But between the type form and the sales call, we use pre-call material, and YouTube videos are used there to actually nurture whoever is coming through. It's pretty self-explanatory of how this works, but more behind the content funnel is like, what are the actual content ideas that you need to be making to actually go ahead and even get people to opt into the free training, to opt into the type form, to actually, be able to go through the pre-call process and get them on a sales call to actually, collect cash. So I want to dive into more of that, not really this process. This is like pretty self-explanatory. So to go into the content ideas, how do we actually come up with content ideas? I'm going to break down each one. So first things first, it comes down to the ICP. Who is your ICP? You must identify this first. This is really the first thing you must do. Once you want to post YouTube content, it all revolves around who you want to sell to, your ideal customer profile. And that's how I came up with all the ideas working with this client that I'm about to break down with you guys. There is other ones that I'm about to reveal, but first things first, you want to develop who the ICP is. After that, what I look for is, okay, I've identified the ICP. Now I want to figure out what are the pains and desires of the ICP. And you can really use AI to reverse engineer, I'll just put RE, around the pains and desires. And you can even tap into fears, and then you can also tap into the motivators of this ICP. And if you use AI, you can reverse engineer the insights around your ICP and tap into the pains, desires, fears, and motivators, and then reverse engineer those literally into video ideas, which would be exactly what your people who you're trying to sell to are trying to watch. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I think about it. That's one way. There's many other ways. I'm about to reveal those right now. Next, we have sales objections. So this is another way that we also tap into ideation for this client, how we're able to actually go ahead and cash collect $1 million in 1 month, with YouTube being a main, supporting driver for that. So we know this client has certain sales objections, but a lot of people will have sales objections. Their sales team is complaining about certain stuff. But if you don't attack those with YouTube content, with actually YouTube content, the reason why it's so good is because of the nurture that comes from YouTube, because these videos are way longer than short form content videos. So it's not like you can just post a 30-second clip and be able to nurture someone, compared to posting a 10-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute, even free course videos, 50-minute video, you know what I'm saying? That's longer and can nurture more than short form content, which is why we like longer YouTube content over the short form stuff. The nurture is more insane. And if you can literally, if you properly angle your content, it's just how I like to think about it, and I can reveal more about that, how I angle videos and type of stuff like that. If you can properly angle your content around the objections that people are having, you can literally create videos that are gonna make you cash, because if you place them properly within your sales system, it's gonna solve all the problems prior to the call. And if the angle is correct, you are able to nurture them, they're able to watch the long form content. It makes the sales call 10 times easier. Like, sales calls become so much easier for your team to actually go ahead and close, because they are already being solved prior to the call. And obviously there's many ways you can do this, but I think it's best done with YouTube videos, because then they can go on a spree where they actually start binge watching your content before they even hop on the call. So that's another way there. And then we have outlier research. So essentially, you can tap all of these in. So you can find your ICP, tap into the pains, desires, fears, and motivators, tap into the sales objections, and then if you do all of those and plug it into outlier research, which I'm going to show you guys how to do, it's so easy. So one, and I'll probably give you guys some sauce here, you have proven title structures. I'll just put proven titles that you can tap into, and I actually have a list where I'm going to go and just drop you guys some sauce right here. Proven title structures. You guys can steal this, pause the video right now, and you guys can just screenshot this. This is free sauce that I'm giving you. But yeah, go ahead, tap into this. These are proven title structures that you can leverage. But what I really want to show you is, when you're on YouTube, how can you do your own outlier research, right? So what I use is, I use vidIQ. I also use Mr. Beast tool, which is called ViewStats, which is actually a paid for tool. But mainly when I'm on YouTube, I use vidIQ. And why do I use this? Is because you can actually spot outliers. And what you want to do is tap into, all these things here, the ICP, pains, desires, sales objections, and put them into proven title formats based off what you find on vidIQ. So if I go to YouTube right now, I can literally do this on the spot, do this live. I want to break down how I would find a video, and how we can tap into one. So let's see. Let's say hypothetically our client's niche was day trading. So this is an outlier that we have right here. How I built a 2.7 million brand using AI. So if our client's niche was day trading, we can do how I made blank amount of money using unique trading strategy. Like the unique name, we could brand a name around the unique trading strategy. Or maybe they read a book or learned something. We just put that unique mechanism there. His unique mechanism is AI. So how I made blank amount of money using unique mechanism. And then we can, inside here, he has my actual product, website, ads, viral videos. We can just do things related to trading. So my settings, or my setups, we can do setups, we can do how he thinks about stop losses, anything that relates to trading that people, obviously I'm not a trader, but I'm just thinking, this is an example of how you can take a proven format like this and add it to a swipe file. That's more sauce too, is you can basically create a Slack channel or a Google Doc or a YouTube playlist even, and create a swipe file of outlier videos you find and title structures you like, and then you can just save it. You can literally just save all of it within the swipe file, and then you tap into the ICP, the pains, desires, fears, and just add it to the swipe file over and over again. So those are ways that you can come up with more content ideas. I think that's super important. But one thing I want to mention and one gem I want to give you guys is you want to make sure you tie in your competitive edge into your content ideas, or none of this is going to matter. And the reason why I'm saying this is because people will go through this entire process. They'll find their ISP, go through pains and desires. They have the sales objections. They're making good content, right? It's actually, they're using outlier formats and all that type of stuff. But you're not going to be different than everyone else that's selling the same thing as you if you're not actually diving into your competitive edge. And the competitive edge is basically where you're just better than everyone else at. Like, where are you better? Like, that's simply the question. And how can you actually allow that to bleed through your content? And you need to let it bleed through your content, because once again, that's how people are going to see you're different. You need to let it bleed through your content. But how do you actually do that? So it's like pushing your own propaganda, essentially, and like having people side with the way that you view things. And what I mean by bleed through your content is necessarily having it through your scripts, having it be your titles. Like, maybe you have a unique way that you trade, right? If we're going back to the example of this being a trading client, maybe you have a unique mechanism that you trade. How can you, put your own unique name around it? Or, consistently repeat the same things over and over. Because if you look at the top personal brands on YouTube, they say the same things over and over. Iman, Hermosi, Gary Vee, they have the same like 3 sayings, 5 sayings. So you need to find your way to push your own propaganda, your way to have your own sayings and have those bleed through your content. And I think that's extremely, extremely important. And even if you have any like unique advantages, competitive edges, like if you're extremely young, if you made a ton of money young, if you had a unique situation or grew up with a bad childhood, it could literally be your own life story, could be part of your competitive edge. Like, I grew up with, a single mother and I was still able to do this. I grew up in a bad, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So you want to tie all this competitive edge aspects into what is happening here with the video ideation, because that's how you're going to be able to stand out. And that's another thing that we're able to do with this client to actually go ahead and cash collect $1 million. So that's more sauce for you there. We have covered the content funnel, info about the client, covered all these things. I think the next thing that I actually want to cover is how we actually execute titles and thumbnails to attract the ICP, and then how we make scripts that collect cash. And with this, I probably will drop you guys more sauce, so just stay along. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the video. If you do want to replicate the same process and actually become a client at Content Cash Media, like I said, we've been doing this for a while, working with a lot of names that you guys know, the growth partner, Brez, Defino, Samir, Flips for Miles, PB Trading. PB Trading, we just made a video on how we collected $235K in 10 days. So if you guys want to do similar, just click the first link down below to talk to myself personally, see if we can work something out. But with that being said, let's get back to the actual video and the value I can give you guys. So how we execute title and thumbnails to attract the actual ICP. Like, how is this done, right? You have your ideas. Ideas are the highest leverage thing on YouTube. So we know how to come up with good ideas now, and we know actually how to post those ideas well. I actually didn't even talk about the actual funnel for posting. I did talk about this funnel in terms of, how it actually worked for this client, but I can actually cover the funnel for posting real quick. I think that would be very valuable, which ties into the actual content ideas that we're posting. So when you, I feel like this is like step number 1. You have, ways to come up with the content ideas. And then after you come up with the content ideas, you tie in your competitive edge. And part 3 of this really becomes the funnel of content that you want to post. So you want to have 3 parts, right? You're going to have top of funnel content, middle funnel content, and bottom of funnel content. And we use all 3 of these with this client. And essentially is you want to use all these things right here. You have an outlier format video that taps into the ICP pains and desires and hits sales objections. And then you want to tie your competitive edge. And then you want to post top of funnel content that can go and, have a more broad appeal. We like to think of these videos as they have more TAM, which means total addressable market. Like, they can go ahead and hit more people. Middle funnel videos are like how to, explainer, type content. So like that's what that means there. Is like just how-to videos around whatever you're selling, right? And then bottom of the funnel, these can be case studies, or these can be typically longer, like niche deep insight videos, NDI I'll put right here. And these videos are typically longer. So for example, a top of funnel video could be like a my story video, right? We can have a my story video on like how I became a better trader, or how I went from 0 to 1 million trading, right? And then this is just like an example, not saying this is a trading client, right? Middle funnel, it could be how to trade with my unique mechanism, similar to the outlier that we just found on the YouTube homepage around like this. This could be a how-to middle. This is like a middle funnel type video where you break it down. And then bottom funnel, you could do like, maybe you do a raw trade breakdown. That could be like super niche deep, very raw. You could do a client case study interview, which is basically you have someone that's gone through your program, they have seen success, and you just interview them and show that your stuff actually works. That's another one. This could be a free course, like super niche deep video. You cover every single part of everything you know. So things of these is like how I kind of think about it. And you want to paste your content into every single bucket and make sure you're hitting every single one. So you use this top of funnel content to grow the channel. So we put the G right here. Middle of funnel content to nurture people that already know you or are just coming in from this content that's helping you grow. And then use this bottom of funnel content to convert. So grow, nurture, convert with top, middle, and bottom of funnel content. And yeah, that's really how I think about it. It should literally work in a flywheel. And that's how I think about it, because you're starting with the ICP, pains, desires, sales, rejections, outlier research, go to competitive edge, put them into the funnel, post them consistently. Then you come into this funnel where you're dropping a YouTube video, they're going here, sales call, pre-call to nurture again, making you more money. And now you just, I think the only thing I need to cover is how you actually can execute these videos to go ahead and collect, the 1 mil. So let's break that down. We're going to talk titles, thumbnails, we're going to talk scripts, and yeah, if anything else that comes to my mind to share in terms of sauce or value, I will just drop it and let you guys know. But executing titles and thumbnails to attract your ICP. A lot of people make titles and thumbnails. Not everyone collects cash on YouTube. So let's dive into how I actually think about it. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get straight into it. So titles, let me just list both of these out. And then you have thumbnails. So how I think about it is the title is basically the way that someone thinks behind a click. I'll just say it like that. And then the thumbnail is what actually gets someone attention. So attention, you have clicks. So how do you actually do these things? So in order to get someone's attention, the thumbnail really comes first. And I believe this is done through showing, especially when you're trying to sell like an info product, is showing some type of desired outcome in the thumbnail. So that's like, it could be money, it could be how fast you're able to do something, just a desired outcome of your ICP. So everything comes back to the ICP, which is mentioned back here, right? That also ties into your titles, thumbnails, and your scripts, which is why I covered the content ideas first, right? But desired outcome here, and then with the title, what's gonna make someone click? It's stemmed behind curiosity, if we're being honest. So you have desired outcome, you have curiosity. If you can get someone's attention within the thumbnail, they read that thumbnail, they're like, okay, this has my attention, it shows desired outcome. Then the only thing you need to really think about is what title is going to make this person curious to click my video. That's literally the only thing you have to figure out. And if you can do that properly, you're going to be able to create stuff that collect cash. I will say, when you're focusing on this stuff, especially when you're selling to, like, if you're selling info product, the ICP is so important, because you need to make sure this like actually looks sophisticated to who you're trying to sell to. You need to make sure it's showing relevant things. Like if you're in if you do trading, right? You want to make sure you're using the actual proper trading charts that people actually look at daily. You don't want to be like using some randomized Photoshop stuff because it can kind of throw it off. It's really psychology based, and that's how you want to think about it. So relevance, if you're selling, I don't know, agency offers, you're gonna want to use stripe charts. You're gonna want to use WAP charts if you're selling like an info, like, you know what I'm saying, very specific things that the audience can remember and be like, oh, this actually relates to me, right? Make sure it's sophisticated, not cringe. There's some relevance there. I would say be effective over being fancy. Like, that's 100%. And then with thumbnails, I also feel like less is always better than more. You can simplify your stuff, show money, show desired outcome, make them curious to click with the title. And if you're able to find titles from proven title formats, all you need to really do is focus on thumbnails that can grab attention, which with the thumbnails, you can also do outlier research on and be able to find stuff that works. Like, once again, this video, if I was a trader, I can put myself on the right side, and then on the left side, I can just put me, I can put some trading lines, and then I can put the profit of the trade that I had top left, make it as big as possible, because that's the desired outcome. They care about making the money, but they're going to see the trading lines that is relevant, and then me with like a curious face, knowing that I'm going to be breaking it down live. So that's just like a live example off the top, off the dome, of like how I think about this stuff. But that's how I would execute titles and thumbnails to attract the ICP. I'm trying to see, obviously we're going to talk about scripts. I think we can talk about after scripts too, like what I think about when posting a video to actually, you know, make sure I'm hitting my ICP, so I'm attracting my proper people that I want to sell to through SEO, how that YouTube content also can tap into, you know, people searching you up on Google and leveraging that content within your funnel, leveraging within your website, and leveraging it on other social medias is something we could talk about. I know I talked about that in my last video where I broke down how he collected $235K in 10 days for one of our clients. But let's talk about scripts that collect cash. And I'm just not like yapping to you guys with some BS. This is like, our clients actually like our scripts. It's easy to follow, but we use a process where it doesn't even feel like you're reading off a script, right? And I want to break that down to you guys. So really self-explanatory actually, but first things first, for the hook, I think about it as you're gonna drop some type of proof that makes them believe what you're about to say is actually true, and you're actually just confirming the click. Here I'm going to talk about more about it: proof, plan, and promise. But you also want to tie in pain, and then also you want to tie in a picture where they can see themselves in the future. So proof, this is really just confirming the click. I'll put CC here. If someone reads a thumbnail and then they read a title, they need to make sure once they click on that video, it's exactly what they wanted, because on YouTube, people choose to click videos. It's not like TikTok where you're scrolling down the feed and videos are just fed to you. People are choosing to click yourself, so you need to actually confirm that click once they choose it. Plan, for the plan in the video, this is for your hook, by the way. Let me actually emphasize this. This is for your hook. For the plan of the video, just what are you going to talk about? Like, what is it? What's going to be in this video? So you can say, in this video, I'm going to cover blank, blank, and blank. And for the hook, ideally, you want to make sure it's 30 seconds or less. Obviously, there's nuance to this. There's 45 seconds is fine. Less is fine. But ideally, 30 seconds. Promise in the video, this is essentially just stakes. Like, if they don't watch this video, what are they going to miss out on? Or what are they going to get access to? You know what I'm saying? So just stakes. Why should they actually watch? Why should they actually listen to you? And then in terms of paints in the picture, you want to basically bring in why not watching this video is actually going to affect them in some way, and kind of just playing with their psychology on why they should actually watch the video. And then pictures, like, if they do watch this video, what does like the future look like for them? And how you can tie these all into one line, which is the best thing about it. Like, you can tie in the pain with your proof. Literally, in this first sentence, you can literally hit both of them. And with the plan, you can tie in your picture. Like, if you do, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down blank, blank, and blank. And if you follow this process, you will be able to hit desired outcome. That's literally the picture. So that's how I think about the hook. That's the process there. You guys can literally go and templatize this and go use it in your own way. For the body, how I kind of think about this, break it down. We can cover our CTA thing. That's terrible writing. Ooh, that's terrible. But for the body, I'm gonna break down how I think about it. We can cover CTA, and we can cover outro. So body, how I think about it is setup, tension, resolution. And essentially the setup is like a mini hook, but you're just giving them context. You're not giving them value. Never give value before context when writing a script. You want to give them context, but you never want to give them the sauce that they came for, because if you give them that sauce, if you give them that value, they're going to end up being like, okay, I actually understand. I can click off this video now. Give them the context. After you've given the context with this like mini hook, which is a setup, you essentially have tension. You just want to give them a reason of why should they actually even listen to what you're talking about, and make them want to listen. Like, say you not doing what I'm about to explain is why you keep losing, and this is exactly why 99% of traders fail within their first year, blah blah blah. And when I'm doing like tension and all this type of stuff, I like to do what's called side questing the viewer, where I can bring in stats, I can bring in your personal stories, I can give examples, and I'm basically just becoming personable with the viewer and becoming someone that's actually like human. You want to make sure your scripts are extremely human, and I do that through side questing with all the like the body stuff, even with the hook. So yeah, then the resolution, this is where you give the value. So this is where you actually get the value. Be like, okay, now that you understand why I'm so huge on this trading formula or trading strategy, here is the actual trading strategy live, and I'm going to break it down with a live trade as well. So you kind of give them the value. So it's context, why you should listen, and then actually value. CTAs, focus on doing these subtly. Tie it into what you're already saying. Do not have it just be random. Random CTAs are weird. Have it be tied into what you're actually already talking about. And I typically like to flex results, or like, yeah, like I just showed you guys our client results, but you know what I'm saying? It's like very subtle. It's tied into what we're doing. It's our process, etc. For the outro, and I like to do this. I like to do the CTA after like the first or second piece of value in the video. Only do CTAs after you've given value. That's my advice there. For the outro, basically for the outro, you want to bring people to another video. So that's like one way you can do it. First thing I would do though is pitch your offer. Like I would pitch the offer at the end of the video, and I like to keep the outros as short as possible. So make sure it's quick. But to drive someone to another video, you kind of just like, I would say one, establish what they've learned from the video they're currently watching. Okay, so like in this video, you now understand the trading strategy that has made me over $1 million. But what if I told you this is only one piece of the puzzle? So then you open up their curiosity. And then 3, you promise a transformation with the next video that they're going to go click on. So for example, if you go watch this video next, you'll understand all parts of my trading psychology, not only my strategy, so you can understand what actually made it possible for me to make 1 million. So go watch this video next, and then you can pitch your offer before or after that, etc. But that's how I think about the scripting aspect. So now you understand scripts, you understand titles, thumbnails, content ideas, content funnel, literally everything in the book. When I'm posting these videos, in terms of like, I guess, YouTube metadata and SEO optimization, it's a lot to write. How I kind of think about these is for tags, it's just like common phrases and commonly searched up keywords. Once again, these are going to be around your actual ICP and who you're trying to sell to. So you have to understand what they're searching up and apply those to your tags. Description, I kind of just hit everything. Sorry if there's background noise, but for the description, I kind of basically hit everything in terms of like what could people be talking about or searching up if it comes to a video like this. So being keyword heavy in the description definitely helps. I typically have the offer, top link in the description, and then everything else I'm pretty sure. Sometimes like we'll use hashtags, but nothing too crazy. Besides that, like that's the YouTube optimization side of things. I think I covered everything that's needed to go and actually cash collect 1 mil from YouTube. So yeah. So I think that's it for me. But if you want to, once again, work with us one-on-one, just click the first link down below. Besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.